Welcome in IllinoisPrep.com. Skyward King Eric Seals. Team preview number 9, moving right along. Simeon, who we think caught the worst break that anyone did coming into these playoffs all year, and the projections looked like they were going to be 8A, and I was ready to pick Simeon for the state championship in 8A, and they're 9-0. Really haven't played a close game, other than that opener with Mount Carmel that you were at Soldier Field. But they have speed all over the place, and including the backfield where Horatio Banks, I was so impressed with the way he followed blocks, and he's got the speed after he follows those blocks to take it all the way. Yeah,
he's a very disciplined running back, very good. He can, as we can see, he'll go through you, he'll go around you, and he will go over you. So
he's an athlete.
He's an athlete. Going back a little bit what you're saying before, I had to look 3 times because I'm like, no Chicago public school has, won the state playoffs. Putting them in 8A, they're gonna get a great chance. And I'm like, wow, they put them in 7A.
Yep. And not enough teams with lower enrollments made it, so it bumped them down. And yeah, that was too bad. Other than the Mount Carmel, the offense looks amazing, so much speed. Other than the Mount Carmel, where Mount Carmel scored 41, and then Dunbar, who scored 32, they haven't even allowed 20 points.
Yep. And
they put up at least 42 every game.
They have a prolific offense.
You better be ready to put some points up on the scoreboard if you're going to beat the Wolverines.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This is the thing about Simeon which will be their Achilles heel. It's themselves.
Yep.
Honestly,
a lot of penalties in that Morgan Park game.
A lot of penalties against the Morgan Park game. I hope the Simeon players are watching this right now, because the only team that I think can really beat Simeon is Simeon.
Yep.
Because the thing is, there's a lot of penalties. There's a lot of a lot of plays get called back, and the teams in the playoffs now, they're going to take advantage of that. They're gonna score each time you give them a 15-yard penalty for whatever it might be. So if Simeon wants to be the first Chicago public school to win the ihsa state playoffs, they have to limit their own mistakes.
Right.
Play their own game.
They're going to have to earn it through teams like Lake Zurich, maybe St. Rita, Carmel, Wheaton South, and East St. Louis.
You have a lot of teams
a lot of potential landmines out there, but what I also like is they also have a big-time receiving threat. We talk about how important the pass game is, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Siwetney Brown.
Sounds good.
This is a 6'4" receiver who's also a high jumper on the track team. I like my chances.
You like that?
Throwing the jump ball to the 6'4" high jumper.
I know you're a big fan of. You love just big, huge targets out there. You don't like the little guys as
Calvin
much.
Johnson,
little Calvin
Larry
Johnson.
Fitzgerald,
and that's what Simeon has. That's what a lot of these schools have. They have athletes,
right,
and they're gonna go out there and they're gonna get your one-handed catch and jumping 40 feet up, not 40 feet up, 40 inch vert. I said 40 feet, 40
might
inch
be a little
vert,
high.
a little high. Hey, you never know. But I'm just saying they have the athletes to play with anybody. But not only that, though, most of the teams that they're going to be playing in the playoffs aren't going to be used to playing their type of football.
Oh, yeah.
And when I say their type of football, I mean the speed, the athleticism, maybe, the intensity. But they play a different game. So, they can come into a lot of these games and have the mental aspect over the other team a lot of the times.
Yeah, and I mean Gregory's not – he's not Riley O'Toole, but he's got a good enough arm that – and he's got to have a confidence in a guy with this sort of measurables to just loft it up there. Let him go get it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because who's jumping up there with a 6'4" high jumper?
Yeah, nobody.
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 Most Illinois high school corners are 5'8" to 5'10".
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a red zone.
All day.
Are you kidding?
I'm going 4 times to him.
Yeah. and obviously the running game's tough, but if someone's stopping the run, just open it up with that guy. But speaking of the 5'8" DBs, my boy, I love me some Darius Scott.
You love Darius Scott.
He had a field day against Morgan Park. 2 pick sixes and some trash talk where the Morgan Park coaches told him they were coming after him, and he said okay. And 1 or 2 months later, he was Deion Sanders in the end zone.
Yeah.
And he was a very confident young man. We interviewed him after the ball game, and he said their goal is to play on Thanksgiving weekend for a state title.
Yeah, well, having that type of DB back there is like Darrelle Revis. It's like you do not want to pass against
Scott
him
Island.
because he's going to coin that now.
Oh, do it.
No, I'm just saying, having that back there is just, you don't want to pass against him, a little too short, a little too Rex Grossman, a little too Jay Cutler, and
he'll jump it out.
He's going to jump it. He's going to take it back for 6. So I really think Simeon has a good chance, but they really have to be on point because they are playing against the best teams in the state.
And more specifically, in your mind, the best team in the state, because the semifinals, they're looking at your boys from Carmel.
And I have Carmel to go all the way. I think they're the best team in the state. I think they can play and run with anybody. So if it's Carmel and Simeon, which you have down right here.
Yep. Now I've got Carmel too. I got Carmel losing to Wheaton South in the state title game.
Okay. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to have like a bad team in the 7A title game. There's really no chance someone's gonna make it and be like, man, they're not that good.
Yeah,
no,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Whoever makes it there, they're either gonna be a really good team or they're gonna be a good team that's just playing lights out football.
But you look at your brackets, how you have them set up for your final 4 teams. You have Carmel, Simeon, East St. Louis, and New Orleans. If you look at the 2 teams, Simeon and East St. Louis are very similar.
Yep.
You have Wheaton South and Carmel very similar. What would happen if we saw Simeon versus East St. Louis?
It'd be like a 60 to 57 football game.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't even be I'd be in the stands watching because I want to see every play because I'm going to see at least top 10 highlights that are going to go on ESPN.
Dudes be getting knocked out, man. People be running each other so fast.
Yeah, I would love it. I don't think it's going to happen, but you just have 2 teams that are similar on both sides. And it's 7A is just so stacked. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely good for football in Illinois, and regardless, Simeon having a year like this, regardless of if they get to win their state title this year, it's good for them as a program to be playing, get a chance to go deep and play against the Carmels, the St. Louis's.
Oh yeah, teaches them a lot.
And the Wheaton South is certainly something that they'll be able to build on going forward with head coach Jesse Chick. As Simeon's always going to have the athletes. It's just a matter of can they come together and play team football. And they're certainly doing it this year. They're getting contributions from everywhere. And Simeon is a very dangerous team in 7A, which to be a dangerous team in 7A, you got to be awful good. So look out for the Wolverines. And next time, we're going to be doing team preview number 10 here on IllinoisPrep.com.